Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I didn't miss y'all today. Sorry I missed you last week. Last week, I agreed to do an early appointment for one of my clients, so they needed an 8:30 time for their signers, and so I did that. And remember, like I told you guys that I'm ordering all my journals, okay, 5 and 6 at a time, so that when you order them, I can ship them to you. You can get them within 3 days as opposed to waiting for the 14th. So this is just one set of them. Put this in my storage over here. So far I have them all. And I made a mistake and put the wrong cover on one of them, but I'm really happy about it because I wanted to show you guys the spiral. I'm going to have spiral journals too. I'm going to use this one. This is the wrong cover for it, but it has the same information in it as the one I just showed you. I like this type because I can do like this and I can hide the page behind it. I can lay it flat. The thing about the glue and thread bound one that I just showed you, the other one, is when you try to lay it flat, it kind of makes one page come up. So I like the spiral. I'm going to use this one. I'm almost done with my other journal. I really like this. Like, really, really like the spiral. Look at that, how it lays flat. Yeah, so this will be the next one I'm using. But anyway, so let me put this up and get started. I try to make these not as long anymore because I'm doing them right before I open up for the day. Got my coffee brewing over there. So good morning to everyone. And I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time. My name is Burjo. You can also call me B. Elise. I am the owner of B. Elise Notary Services, as well as president and founder of the Notary Education Group. And on Wednesdays, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time, that's our new time, I come live on this channel so that I can talk to you guys. One, about business, two, about notary, and then three, answer any of your questions in real time that you may have. So today's topic is talking about notary terms, okay? And I always try to talk about things that I see in notary groups. I'm not as active in them, but I do watch them just to see what information other notaries may be sharing from other states. I'm in Florida, but it's important that I know about what's going on in other states as well because I also do, hi CBL, I also do notarizations for people in various places. And so just knowing a little bit about them and how their states work, it gives me insight, not so that I can operate by the statutes of their state because I can't, but still being aware of the differences. You know what I mean? So anywho, I am going to share my screen. Let me do that. I'm looking for this here. So this way, yes, I want this one here. And let's see how this is going to work for me. I think I can. I want to play prisoner view. All right, cool. It says drag and drop the screen on the projector display. On the projector display your slides. The presenter controls the screen through the presenter window. So, oh, okay. So I can move that here. And let me share my screen. Like I'm about to sneeze. Um, is it this one? Yes, it's that one, I think. All right, I did it. Haha, I figured it out. All right, so I'm just gonna cover my face up, but I want to be able to see the chat window. All right, guys, so we're gonna be, oh, this is not the right one. This is my seminar presentation. I'm sorry. That's not the right one. My bad. Um, I got a webinar coming up, and that's the presentation for that. Let me go to Google Slides. That's where I put the presentation for you guys. Hmm. Darn it. It's under Bealiston. Oh, here it is. I'm like, what the heck? All right. Now let me go into presentation mode. My goodness. I thought this would be a little easier to do, but it doesn't seem like it. How do you do? Oh, okay. I did it. All right. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. Share this screen. There it is. All right. So, notary industry terminology. Is this the right? That's not it either. I feel so old when I can't figure out something to do that I'm trying to do that usually my kids will help me with. It's really annoying. All right. That is the quiz for after we talk. Okay. Looking for this here. All right. And my kids will make me feel old, as by the way. All right. So we're going to talk about notary terminology today. All right. And the reason being is because I've seen in some groups where people are getting confused about the terminology being used. And the reason being is because, you're kind of freshly new, or, maybe you have been a notary for a while, but you have not been practicing notary for that long. You do have people who they become a notary, been a notary for a year, and now they're actually going to start doing notary. So that doesn't count how long you've been a notary. What counts is how long you've been actually participating in the notarial acts for other people. All right. So, as a notary public, we all know that we are state appointed public officials, right? Okay. We're impartial witnesses, which means that we should not have any bias to the transaction at all. Okay. And we are not legal advisors, so we cannot be giving out unlicensed, um what is it? It's UPL. Is it the unlicensed practice of law? We can't do that. All right. And when people reach out to us, unfortunately, you kind of have to draw the line. Like, I always have people call me, um, do you do quick claim deeds? Yes, I do notarize quick claim deeds. Oh, you don't, I can't like have you put it together? No, I don't draft documents. Now, there are some people who do offer document drafting, but I do not as a notary public. And the reason being is because we shouldn't be drafting the documents that we're going to be notarizing. So if you're going to be drafting documents, you better not be a notary on that same document. That's just how that goes. And that is for the state of Florida. I don't know how that applies to any other state. Now, the Notarial Act, all right, you hear people talk about that. That is the official act performed by us, okay, the notary. Um, Acknowledgments, we notarize the acknowledgments, but the person is the one who is making the acknowledgement. They're acknowledging that they're signing the document for the purposes intended, okay? Now, a principal, okay, we see that a lot. Principal, that is the person whose signature is being notarized, all right? So if you're doing a power of attorney and you see they're asking for the principal signer and then they're asking for the agent, the signer is not the agent. Okay, the signer is appointing a person to be their agent, which is what we call an attorney in fact. All right. The attorney-in-fact is just the agent being appointed by the principal to perform whatever duties that the power of attorney is explaining them to do. Okay. The settlor. All right. And this is for trust. Okay. I do see this sometimes, and I see it a lot of times when I am doing real estate transactions that where the property is in a trust. All right. So it's going to ask if the person did not provide a copy of their trust, they're going to have to do a trust certification, and they have to fill out this document and answer the questions. And the questions are going to ask who the settlor is. The settlor is the person who has created the trust, which is most likely the people. Okay. The trustee is the person that manages the trust. Okay. So they may also be a trustee. They may be managing their own trust. All right. The co-trustee shares trustee duties. All right. So if they have themselves and other people, that's how it's going to be listed. The trustee is the person who manages the trust, and the co-trustee is the person who shares in trustee duties. Okay. Document. Okay. This can also be called an instrument. Document instrument is the same thing. It's the paperwork being signed. All right. So when you see on the notarial section, hold on. I knew it. Oh, excuse me. The foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me by so and so on this date, excuse me, via so and so presence or online notarization, who then presented a blah 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 as identification. The foregoing instrument is going to be the document being signed. All right. Excuse me. I forgot to take allergy medicine today. All right. The notarial certificate. People get confused with this. Where's my key? Um, well, you know what? Let me take it out my my notary bag. Now, if you're not familiar with what a notary certificate looks like, all it is the notary wording that we use to complete the notarization. It can be pre-printed on the document already, or it could appear on a loose document like this, which we call a loose certificate. It is not like an award type document. Okay, it doesn't have any seal um, like this. It doesn't, have this. Now, I did see a girl in Canada. She puts these on there and then uses an embosser. We don't do that here. So I guess maybe that's a Canada thing. But yeah, we just use our self-inking stamp on here. Okay. Now some people use an embosser and they have an inker where they can ink the embossment if that's allowed in your state. However you need to do it. Your stamp goes only where the notary wording is. Okay. So that's what that notary certificate is. Okay. Remember, as notaries, we're notarizing signatures. We don't notarize documents, so we don't care about the contents of the documents and what the document is being used for. We are just there to authenticate the person behind the signature. Okay, that's it. Now, satisfactory evidence. When you see that, that is just talking about identification. All right, so satisfactory evidence means that an acceptable method of ID was used to verify the person. All right. Some of the certificates do say that. Our certificates need to specifically, in Florida, state the type of ID we use to authenticate the person. All right. Or verify their identity. Credible witness. Okay. You do have several different type of witnesses, but the credible witness is they swear to the identity of the signer. Okay. Some states allow you to use a credible witness if the person for some reason is not able to obtain a valid form of identification. Okay, this typically happens when you have people in the assisted living places where they're not able to leave and go and get an ID, and the people there are not going to take them. Now, their family can come and take them, but the chances of that sometimes is very low. So, in that case, they will be able to use two people that know them to vouch for their identity. Like, yeah, this is the person. They would sign a sworn statement, and then you would make sure you put that information in your journal as the satisfactory evidence used to identify this person. Okay. Now, when we're talking about um, remote online notarization, we have a different type of ID methods that we can do. Now, we have the KBA, which is the knowledge-based authentication. Okay. Now, there are some states where you have to do this. Okay. The only way that a person can do KBA is if they have history within the states, either via a social security number or a tax ID number, a US tax ID number, right? So it will be 5 questions, and they have 2 minutes to answer the 5 questions correctly. And the questions are usually based on their history that they have. So, like things they have, I bit my tongue, things that they have applied for, purchased, real property and things like that. Um, Trust, businesses, those type of things are tied to people, tax ID numbers. So they would have a history of that if they had held a residence here, etc. Okay. Um, Biometrics is another one that we use. Now, in some states, they have to use biometrics and KBA. I am in a state where we can do one or the other. And the reason being is because the state the state allows us to notarize for people who are not U.S. citizens. So if you are not a U.S. citizen or a U.S. business owner, you are not going to be able to answer KBA questions. It will not generate any questions for you because it doesn't have any history for you. So you will have to do biometrics. Biometrics is basically verification using their face. Okay, so with biometrics, the platform, the notary platform, is going to scan their face and it's going to scan their ID and determine if these are a match. Okay. In scanning the ID is looking for security features that are in the identification, those holographic images and those little numbers in the back that we may not be able to read. Is identifying that to make sure that this is a valid type of ID because it's supposed to cut down on people just uploading or using pictures that they got saved in their phone, fake IDs. I had a person try to do a fake ID. They had made a color copy of it on a piece of paper and they were taking a picture of it. And you could tell it was fake because they were holding it up. And every time they held it up, you could see the paper like doing like this. And I'm looking like, the reason why this keeps failing is because you are taking a picture of a paper copy of an ID. And so they're like, well, I mean, I made a copy. This is the ID. And I was just looking like, no. So that is what biometrics does. All right. And just so you know, it does not replace them physically showing you their ID. Okay. You still want to have them physically present this ID that that they used in the camera so that you can see it. It's no different than you being in person with them and having them show you their ID. Okay, same concept, but just via webcam. All right, now acknowledgments and jurats. People, they still get confused on these, and I don't know why, but the acknowledgement is basically them acknowledging that their signature is being applied to a document for the purposes stated in the document. That's it. They understand this document and they're signing it. Okay, so whatever the document is saying, that's what they are acknowledging to, period. Okay. The jurat is a little bit more sensitive in that they are attesting to the trueness of the information in the document. So not you, we're not attesting to it. The signer is, they're swearing on under oath or on their honor that the information in the document is true to the best of their knowledge. So it is imposed or implied, I'm sorry, that they have reviewed this document and they understand what they are signing. Okay. So and that's why they're doing it in front of you, you know, and you are keeping record, hopefully, stating that this person appeared before you. They did not look like they were under any duress. They were willing and aware, and they signed this document. So, acknowledgement, we're not putting them under oath. They're not swearing to nothing. They're just acknowledging that they know what they're signing and they're signing the document for whatever it's telling them it's going to be used for. The jurat, where they're swearing that the information is true as far as they know. Okay. And this is how you need to explain it to your signers when you get a document that does not have any type of notary wording on it. Okay. Explain this to them and explain it in layman's terms. Okay. The one thing that we have to get away from is trying to use jargon because, and I understand a lot of people think if I use the correct terms that apply to notary, that the person will take me as a credible person, but that's not really the case. In any event, you need to make sure that the signer understands, not that you understand, that they understand. So explain it to them in a way that they are going to get it so they can make an informed decision on what type of certificate you are going to use for their document if it's missing notary wording. Okay. Now we talked about instrument is document. Instrument is the document. Okay. Now document drop. All right. Or doc drop. Okay. You may be working for title company, working with title companies or a signing service, and they're going to ask you, when is your last pickup for drop? And you're looking like, what? So they're talking about FedEx and UPS. Okay, the FedEx and the UPS, they have the latest time that they're going to pick up documents to be shipped out same day. Okay, so everybody should know when this is. And it's not just something that signing services ask you. A title company can call you directly and hire you, and they're going to want to know if they schedule this appointment for this time, and if they want the documents to ship out today, do you know how late you could drop those documents off to make sure they're going to be shipped out same day? So that's what that means. What's the last pickup for doc drop? That's what that means. Okay. So you're going to let them know. You're going to, and then if you don't know, just look up the nearest FedEx and look up their last pickup time. Okay. For FedEx Express is what it most likely is going to be. And UPS, I think, is the same. UPS Express, I think, or next day air. Yeah. And then if you can't find it, call them. Just call. Okay. Sometimes it'll be an automated recording where I'll have you click a number and then it'll tell you last pickup time. Okay. The doc drop refers to the post signing delivery to a carrier. All right. So not you preparing the documents. Okay. You want to make sure if they need those documents. Now, sometimes they don't care. Like for refinances, a lot of times they don't care. If they got some wiggle room between the time that the documents get to them and the actual date of closing. But you have some where they are on a strict deadline and they need to make sure that you're going to make that last pickup time so that they can get their documents shipped the same day. Fax backs and scanbacks. I don't know why this is confusing, but we don't do faxing anymore. Now, every once in a while, though, I have had attorneys in other countries prefer fax, and I've had medical facilities prefer fax. And I do have a digital fax, so I can do that. But when you see fax backs, they're just saying that they want you to scan and upload the document to a portal or platform or email it to them. Okay, so that's all. It's sending electronic copies. Okay, and before you be like, well, I try to get orders where I don't have to do scans. Scans is not all about inconveniencing you. Okay, this is something that is often required for quality control, and funding. Sometimes they can fund with scans pending the hard copies coming in the mail. So don't feel like you don't want to do the scanning because it's a part of the process. And I'm seeing more and more times now that my direct clients are wanting to get scans so that they can fund while they're waiting to get the hard copies in the mail. Okay. Now, common mistakes that I hear notaries say all the time. I certify the document. I verify the contents. I help them fill it out. We don't do none of that. We don't. Okay. We identify willingness and watch execution. That's it. Or witness execution. Okay. That's all we do. All right. So I want you guys to remember all the terminology that we went over because it is important that you know. And I know for some of you, like myself, who have been doing this for a long time, you're like, that was nothing. But you don't realize that you have new notaries who they just really don't know. And a lot of times they feel ashamed because we make them feel so bad because we forget that we started somewhere too. In the beginning, when I started, all of this wasn't self explanatory to me. Okay, I had questions too. But now that I use the terminology all the time, I'm going into year 6, all of this is, common knowledge to me. So for those of you where this is not common knowledge, I hope that this helped. All right. Now I am going to share a knowledge quiz to see if y'all were paying attention. All right. And I want you to drop your answers in the chat window. So now I'm going to share my screen so that I can do that. Now let me figure out how I did this before. There we go. All right. I want to share my screen right there. There we are. Perfect. All right. So I want you to select the best answer for each question. Okay. And remember, this is for educational purposes and self-assessment only. Okay. So don't, um, you know, be looking for anything further than that. All right. Now, what does a notary public notarize? The document, the signer's intent, the signature, or the contents of the document? Go ahead and drop your answer in the chat. A, B, C, or D. What does a notary public notarize? All right. Y'all ready for the answer? C, the signature. Why? Notaries notarize signatures, not documents or contents. All right. Next, who is an attorney in fact? A, a licensed attorney. B, a court-appointed representative. C, a person named in a power of attorney. Or D, a trustee. Drop your answers in the chat here. Now my coffee done got cold. I go over there and warm it back up. Excuse me. Okay, y'all ready for the answer? C, a person named in a power of attorney. Okay, which is, remember I told you, the principal appointing the attorney in fact, aka agent, to make decisions on their behalf. All right, C Bell, good job. An attorney in fact is an agent designated in a power of attorney, not necessarily a lawyer. Next, what is an instrument in a notary terminology? I'm sorry, what is an instrument in notary terminology? A notary tool, a legal document affecting rights, a notarial certificate, or a form template? Drop your answers in the comment. Correct answer is B. It is a legal document affecting rights. Instruments are formal legal documents like deeds or power of attorneys. Okay, basically any document that they're requesting you to notarize their signature on. Next, what does document drop mean in a signing assignment? Documents are prepared in advance. Documents are emailed to the signer. Documents are dropped at FedEx or UPS after signing, or documents are reviewed by the notary. Oh, my nose, guys. I'm so mad I forgot to take an allergy pill. Mm, mm, mm. Because I'm suffering. All right, you ready for the answer? C. Documents are dropped at FedEx or UPS after signing. That is what document drop is. A doc drop refers to post-signing delivery to the designated shipper. Okay. Next, who is the settlor in a trust? The person managing the trust, the person benefiting from the trust, the person who creates the trust, or the notary? Who is the settlor in a trust? Ready for the answer? C, the person who creates the trust. The settlor, also called the grantor, establishes the trust. Next, what is the role of a trustee? A, to notarize trust documents, B, to create the trust, C, to manage and carry out the trust, or D, to witness signatures. Ready for the answer? C, the trustee manages and carries out the terms of the trust. Okay, so trustee manages the trust according to its terms. 7, what is a co-trustee? Hold on. A backup trustee, B, a witness to the trust, C, someone who shares trustee duties, or D, a beneficiary. What is a co-trustee? Ready for the answer? C, someone who shares trustee duties. I didn't mean to just click like that. All right, you guys saw that? C. All right, next one. Which statement about biometrics is correct? A, biometrics replace ID requirements. B, notaries store biometric data. C, biometrics verify identity using physical or behavioral traits. D, all states require biometrics. Which statement about biometrics is correct? Ready for the answer? That will be C. Biometrics verify identity using physical or behavioral traits. Biometrics is a technology tool used by notary platforms, and notaries, we do not manage the data for that. All right, I'm seeing, oh my goodness. It must be a delay because I'm seeing all y'all answers come up now. All right, good deal. Number 9, what is the purpose of scanbacks? A, to replace original documents. B, to provide electronic copies after signing. C, to verify signer identity. Or D, to store notary journals. The answer is B, to provide electronic copies after signings. Scanbacks, they support quality control and sometimes funding approval. Most times. All right, good job, guys. And I think this is my last one. Which statement is not appropriate for a notary to say? I verified your identity. I notarized your signature. I certified the document. Or please sign in front of me. I think this is the last one. Ready for the answer? It will be C. We do not certify documents, guys. Correct, CBL, yes. All right. Remember, we do not certify documents, okay? We only validate signatures. All right, so here's the score guide. If you got 8 to 10 correct, you have strong terminology fluency. If you got 5 to 7 correct, you have solid foundation, but keep learning. And if you got below 5, please revisit terminology, okay? Because your confidence starts with you knowing what you're doing, okay? So, which term surprised you the most and why? Let's see that in the comments. Was there any term that I did review that you guys like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, now I know. All right, so I am going to stop the sharing here. You guys did good. Very good. All right, so I thought I stopped sharing. Okay. So I am going to end on that note. But what I wanted to share with you guys is that we got a lot of good things going on in the academy. So if you did not see, we have a new finance course for notaries and business owners that is available right now. I think it launched on the 1st. All right, so definitely go and check it out. There are going to be some other courses dropping in the following months. So we have cybersecurity for notaries coming up, and then we have workplace safety for notaries. Okay, and I'm going to be meeting with the insurance company that I work with because I do want to do the notary renewals for you guys too, which I am able to do. It's just that I need to figure out how I can merge my systems with their systems so that we can make it a seamless process for you. So be on the lookout for that. I'll definitely be posting about it. And don't forget, I have finally got all of my journals here. So if you purchase a journal on the website, now you will receive it within 3 to 5 days versus 14 because I'm going to be mailing it myself. All right. So you guys can thank the person who ordered before and claimed that I was some type of scammer. Um, yeah, like I said, I could understand their frustration. Having to wait that long to get a book was just crazy. But I think it was because it was during the holiday and Amazon was kind of backed up. They even told me when I ordered my own books that they were out of stock. I'm like, how they out of stock? Oh, you printing the book. You're printing the book and mailing it to me. How is it out of stock? So I finally got them. All right. And I have 2 more coming because I have the breast cancer awareness journal and then I have the navy blue cover. One coming in the mail. I think it might be today or tomorrow, but I'll have all of them. I ordered them 5 and 6 at a time. So that way I have, enough stock. Now, if you guys start purchasing more, I'll start stocking more. But right now, I got 5 and 6 here of each book. I also have the I-9 notary log for those of you who do I-9s, okay, so that you can keep record of all the I-9s you do. Remember, I-9s are not notarized, so therefore, we're not putting it in our notary journal, but it doesn't mean that you cannot keep a log for this. So I have a log for it, all right? And I think that was all I wanted to share. Yeah. So did you guys have any questions? Let me know. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be a question about something I talked about today. If you have questions that you have about anything business or notary related, I am happy to answer them for you. That's the purpose of me doing the live. Okay. So let me know in the comments. And if not, you guys are free to go. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I always appreciate it because, I don't just do this for myself. I go live to help you guys and to offer you guys insight and guidance. Okay, that's the whole purpose for this. Otherwise, I don't need to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my coffee together. I'm going to be opening up real soon. And you guys have a wonderful week ahead. All right. I'll see you guys again next Wednesday. All right. Bye, everyone.